Okay, that was my run that I did on Saturday for Spear and the Change the World. That was, oh man, I'm really happy with that. That was, oh man. Okay, hold on. How can I, uh, what should I do here? I guess I guess I'll just put on my intermission screen. All right, so, all right, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that was. I'm really happy with how that run turned out during S2CTW. That was my original. Okay, so there weren't really any big mistakes, even though I didn't. It was not on PB pace for sure because I was like a minute and a half off of my personal time during that run. And, well, oh my gosh, how can I put it? So, so basically the story behind this run that I did on Saturday is, I woke up really early in the morning, because I want to make sure that I had enough time to practice this run. I was, like, losing tons of sleep on that morning, just thinking about, oh man, this run's gonna turn out really bad, because I was practicing for 2 weeks straight, and well, yeah, I was practicing 2 weeks straight, and hoping I could get a PB, because my PB at the time, well, when I submitted this like a couple months ago, because the submissions were open on October. So I was able to. So then I came into. So one day I was at school, just on Twitter, on October, and then I saw somebody retweet from the marathon Twitter, like, "Hey, we have submissions open. Who wants to submit their runs so that we could participate, so that runners could participate and help raise money for JDRF." And then I thought to myself, wow, this is really cool. This could be my opportunity, because I started getting really hooked on GDQs for after HGQ 2014. I've been watching GDQ since CGDQ 2010. So I've never missed a single GDQ at all. But I got myself really hooked on it after HGQ 2014. And so I wanted to run a marathon. GDQ was the only marathon speedrunning marathon that I knew about. Then I started hearing about other speedrunning marathons like ESA, what else is there? STR, and then there's also online marathons, which I ran New Super Luigi at Mariothon during the summer, and then I ran this game. So I submitted a Link to the Past GBA for S2CTW, and I was really surprised that this was submitted, because GBA has been despised by a lot of people. Even outside of the Link to the Past community, people don't really despise this version a lot because of how the GBA version works compared to SNES. Like, it just doesn't have that. Like, the control scheme's different, sounds are bad, which I will admit the sound effects are really bad in this version. And, well, oh man. But I did want to give it a try at a marathon, because I think it does deserve love. I gave it a try, and I did also submit the Super Nintendo Link to the Past just in case they decided that they don't want the GBA version. And then a couple months after October, well, not a couple months after October, 1 month after October, because that's when they said that oh, submissions are dead now. It's time to now create a schedule. So so I'm on the deadline. I was waiting patiently for a very long time to see what the schedule is going to be, and then once they announced the schedule, I took a look at it and saw that Link to the Past GBA got accepted, and I was really surprised. That really surprised, and then at the same time, it gave me an opportunity to actually showcase myself playing Link to the Past which was pretty much the goal that I wanted for a long time, to be featured at a marathon at some point. Well, even though I technically did at Marathon, but I only did commentary for a couple runs at Marathon. I did Luigi U, but I did it after Marathon because of some issues I was having that allowed me to cancel my run on the Marathon, which was pretty sad. And that was probably my most regrettable my most regrettable moment in Marathon, because I caused the schedule to be behind by a significant amount of time, and yeah. But thankfully, when my time was about to come for Link to the Past GBA live at S2CTW, during the runs, I was watching pretty much as many runs I could, because I wanted to see other people. I wanted to watch other people play as well, because you know, if you're in a marathon, and like there's a bunch of other people doing the same marathon that you're doing, then you probably want to watch as well, just so you can get a feel about how it's gonna be like once you start doing it. And so I made sure that, well, this made me feel like a really irritating guy, but I kept asking the organizers if I could possibly get the stream key so I could stream on the Marathon channel, and just to make sure that I don't hog up the schedule from technical issues, and because that was my issue, because that was the issue that I was having during Mariothon. So that's why that was my process. And then of course there's also the practice runs that I was doing during the course of the events. At the time when I submitted, at the time that I submitted this run, I had a really horrible PB of a 139. I had a really low 139, and I thought to myself that it was a really bad run, because of the amount of mistakes I made throughout that run. And so I spent pretty much lots of hours just trying to get that time down. I got it down to a 1:37.52, which was 1 second off of the original world record that it was. And then it was Thanksgiving break, November 21st. It started my Thanksgiving break, and it was during the Link to the Past 25th anniversary. I did that race. It was fun, and then after that, it was like really late at midnight. I figured that I should really start practicing for S2CTW now, and so I dropped the SNES version, pick up the Game Boy Advance, start playing, and what do you know? I finally got the world record of a 1:35.02, which can easily be brought down to a 1:34, but I decided, I don't know, it's probably not going to be for a while. I can see a 1:33 happening for GBA 100%, but I don't really. It's probably gonna be like really hard to do, especially with like, a 34 is possible because my current PB right now has 7 chests, and that's really not in my standards. So I can easily save at least half a minute if I were to bring this category down even further. but that's just probably not gonna be for a while. So that was S2CTW. I then told myself right after I got that world record. Well, okay, first off, oh my God, there's a lot to explain here. I'm really jumbling things. I'm really mixing things all over the place, and that's really not a good thing when I'm trying to describe things. But so I started speedrunning this game on August 2012, and that was when I watched Cypher's AGDQ run back in 2012. I thought it was a good run, so I figured, well, wow, this looks really cool. I think I should try this out. But I never grew up playing Link to the Past at the time, so I got the Game Boy Advance ROM because I figured that if a lot of people are playing the Super Nintendo version, I might as well just be the weird guy and just play something that's underrated, and that's the Game Boy Advance version. And of course, it was fun. I had a pretty rough time in my first playthrough, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is for a lot of people's first time playing a game. When they play a game for the first time, that they have a rough time. So it shouldn't be that much of a surprise. But then there was a time where during that summer where I was like really bored. I was really bored, and so I was just playing Link to the Past like every day. And then 1 month later, from July to August, on August, I figured, well, maybe I should just start speedrunning this game now, since I'm at that level. So I did, and I ran 100% as my first category, which is weird, which is odd, because most people usually start with NMG or Master Sword as a first category, but I decided to do 100% because my OCD, I like to 100% games. So I like to do 100% games, and so I did 100%, and that was the only category that I did for a while, and I had a lot of fun doing 100%. So yeah. What else? So yeah, so I've been doing 100% runs for a while, but I never streamed myself doing 100% because I didn't have any streaming equipment to do it. Then I did them once in a while, and then I took a break on 2014. The entire 12 months of 2014, I did not play Link to the Past, and I didn't come back until February 2015. And I pulled off a PB of a 208 on Super Nintendo 100%. At the same time, pulling off my first sub 2 hour 100% run on GBA 158, a mid 158. And I thought to myself, well, there's no way I'm gonna improve these times, because I thought to myself that these runs were really good, because with the strats that I used, that made them really good. And yeah, so because it was so hard for me to improve them because of the strats that I used to have. Then at SGDQ 2015, I saw Zelna running Link to the Past 100%. I was really excited, and I never knew who Zelna was up until SGDQ 2015. And like watching that run, it really amazed me. And so it just made me think, wow, I could totally do this. So I got back into doing 100%, and then it turned out that a lot of the strats that he was doing were like extremely difficult, and I needed to have enough practice in order to be really good, in order to do pretty much half the strats that he was doing. But I didn't really know where to go to start learning these strats at all. And so then a month later, after SGQ, I started learning a different category to see what I can learn from that. And so I started doing NMG finally for the first time, and it was completely blind because I never really paid much attention to what an any percent category is like. And so I just did some weird routes for the first time on NMG. And then the first person who came into my stream was Timon when I was doing my first NMG run. And he pretty much helped me. He helped me with basics on like, well, he helped me with beginner strats at first for NMG. Like, you know, pick up this item for safety. You probably might need it because you might have a hard time with this category. And I did have a hard time with the category at first because it was very weird at first. At first it's just really weird to just like when you're so used to playing 100% for a long time, and then you start migrating to a category where you're not 100% in the game, it's just very weird to just actually have less hearts at a certain point of the game where you have like maybe 5 more heart containers in that particular dungeon. And it's really strange. But that's just I got used to it pretty quickly after my 3rd run. I did a 2nd run. It was pretty rough, and then my 3rd run, I improved by a lot. I dropped pretty much 1 safety item, which was 1 bottle. I used to have 2 bottles, and I dropped a bottle because I didn't have the rupees to get a 2nd bottle. And then but then when I completed that run, I realized that well I'm capable of skipping 1 bottle because I don't need a 2nd bottle. And so I just stopped doing NMG for a while. Then I came back on Christmas of 2015, and I grinded the heck out of NMG runs because I was getting really frustrated as I wanted to PB so bad. Because I started learning intermediate strats from Timon. Timon helped me. Timon is an inspiration for NMG runs, in my opinion. He helped me with learning harder strats. So I was now on the intermediate level of Link to the Past at that point. So I got a low 140, like a low 143, and I'm really happy about that because I saved a lot of time with the strats that Timon taught me. And then the NMG tournament came along in springtime, actually. But out of any of the runs I did during the course of the tournament, I never improved my time. Because I was just so focused on PBing that my mind was just that focused that I just wasn't really focusing on actually playing the game. So it really just gave me a lot of anger and frustration out of that. And so once the tournament ended, I pretty much had enough with Link to the Past at that point. And, well, it's silly, but I still kept playing, but for some reason I just still kept playing the game. Like I wanted to stop playing, but there's just something about the game that just made me keep playing it for whatever reason. And so after the tournament, I just started doing more Link to the Past races with other runners of Link to the Past, because that's when I actually started getting into the Link to the Past community. And I never knew that there was like a whole community of people who, at that point, I never knew that there was a whole community of people who spend their time on Link to the Past just as much as me. And so I met a lot of people. I'm good friends with a good number of them, and they've pretty much helped me a lot with getting better. And I now have a 134.30 currently on Super Nintendo, NMG, and it with a 123.49 on GBA NMG. I also improved my 100% time even further down as well. I actually, well, after the tournament, I actually started getting more consistent with a lot of the intermediate strats, and that's really good. But I mean, once you come to a certain time, then that's when you really have to start practicing and start putting in a lot more time into the game if you really want to further your time down to like the top, let's say top 10 or something like that. Like, you're gonna have a hard time trying to get up to like top 10 or top 15 or something like that. And that's just the reality of speedrunning. If you want to have a good time, you just have to spend a lot of time with that game that you're trying to get it down to. And now I just don't really have that effort. I don't have that motivation to do that anymore. My goal for Link to the Past was to get a really good time that has good RNG, a 1 dig and 1 chest PB, along with good execution. And I managed to do that with the 135.52 time that I had. But when I realized that it was 1 second off a world record, like, I can't possibly just give up and be 1 second off a world record. Like, I just want to reclaim it. So I just spend a lot of time. So I spent a lot of effort just trying my best to reclaim the time, reclaim my crown. And November 21st is the day that I reclaimed my world record back from Downtime Death. And that's it. So I'm pretty satisfied with the time that I have now. Well, pretty much a lot of the times that I have on the Link to the Past leaderboards, I'm pretty much satisfied with. But I mean, obviously they can be improved by a lot. Maybe by maybe a few minutes or seconds. But for now, I don't really see any good ways I could try to improve them, other than just getting better and just spending more time. But well, I achieved my goal with Link to the Past, so I have no reason to really play the game anymore, unless there's some type of event that's going on for Link to the Past. Then I'll consider coming back. But for now, I can finally retire in peace. I wanted to retire the game right when I got the world record, but I realized that, well, I still have to run the game at the marathon, so I can't just completely drop the game yet. So I was still practicing at that point. I was still practicing at that point. Hello, Origines. But yeah, at this point, I'm done with Link to the Past. I'm not gonna further my time down any further. And so, yeah. I pulled off a 136.31 at the marathon. And okay, now I have to talk about my marathon. Now I have to talk about my marathon, basically, what was going on during the marathon. Since I talked about the process before the marathon, so I was really nervous. If you watch them, if you watch the marathon VOD, then you'll know that I was really nervous pretty early on, because I was practicing all day at that point. It was my turn to start running. So I was really nervous. You can tell from my commentary that I was acting pretty shaky because it was the very first time actually being live at a marathon. And so I had a pretty rough start early on. But I'm really glad. I started calming down a bit once I got past Dark Palace. Like, yeah, once I got out of Dark Palace, I started calming down a bit, and so I started talking a lot more. I was able to talk a lot more. One thing I was really ashamed of was, like, okay, obviously Light World was pretty bad. Like, I failed pretty simple stuff during my Light World segment. Like, I failed the quick kill Armos, which is something that I should never do. That's like 1 in 1,000 chances that I ever missed that, and apparently that just happened. I had a pretty bad Land Molas fights. I missed the tech skip in Escape, you know, where like the room right before, you know, like in the last room of Escape, where you hold right in that room and you skip a text. Somehow I just pushed down too early and I got the text. But thankfully you only lose like half a second if you even get the text, so it's really not that bad, not that big of a time loss. I got 3 blue balls. I had 3 digs, which is I guess not that bad, but it's which 3 digs isn't really that bad, but it's still. But I mean, if I was running against my splits, that's pretty bad. A worse marathon run than you? Really? Your capture card hung on a thread? Wow, that's unfortunate. What run were you running? Wait, what run were you running? Were going to run if you even had a run going. Anyway. So yeah, but the 2 chests, the 2 chests the 2 chess game attempts was really amazing. I wasn't actually expecting myself to get 2 chests, because like during all my practice runs, I've been having like really bad chess luck. So, and somehow I just got really good chess. So I was, yeah. I did take a safety. I did go safe on a couple parts. Like I grabbed 1 extra fairy. I usually wouldn't. Grab 2 fairies in a bottle. I usually go for 1, and that's specifically for Cane of Burna. But I grabbed the second one because, you know, it's a marathon. You never know if you're gonna die in a marathon. You know, marathon luck. You ran Monkey Ball Deluxe? Oh, really? What was your time during Monkey Ball Deluxe? Anyway. Hallway in Thievestown was pretty bad, but at least I didn't lose a lot of damage. I had a pretty bad my Meyer segment was pretty bad actually overall. Like I had to go baby on Vitreous because I got ballsed up by one of the eyeballs, so I had 2 hearts and I didn't have enough hearts to go for the quick strat, to finish doing the quick strat, so I had to bail out and just go all baby and use the Cane of Burna and kill all the eyes like that, and it's hecka slow. But I guess the run after that was really not too bad, with the exception of a bunch of minor mistakes. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I mean, being a minute and a half off of PB in a marathon, that's really good. $24.53? Dang. What? I'm gonna assume that that the estimate was like what, 30 minutes or something like that. I don't know, but because I submitted my estimate for, well, first I originally submitted my estimate as 2 hours because I thought that well, I thought I wasn't feeling confident because my time was like a 1:39, and it was really bad. But then like when the deadline was coming to a close, and I had a 1:37.52. I asked him, well, hey, can you change my time to 1:45? Because I was feeling more confident now. Because I was getting more consistent with late game. And so that's what I did. So my estimate was a 1:45. And what do you know, I ended up with a 1:36.31. So I basically saved 9 minutes off the entire schedule. And that's good because at that point we were running behind on schedule. Like my run was supposed to be at 12:44 Pacific time. It ended up being switched to 1:26 Pacific time. 25 minutes. Whoa, dude. Dang. Yeah, that's rough. I imagine Monkey Ball would be hard. Like I watched people play Monkey Ball, and it looked really difficult to me. Well, then again, my eyes kind of couldn't take it because of all the motions that was going on in Monkey Ball. Like for some reason I just couldn't take it whenever I watch people play Monkey Ball. Plus, it looks really hard. Looks like a really hard ball game. Like whenever I watch one of those ball games that looks really difficult. I imagine it'd be really punishing, yeah. But yeah, so that was real. So yeah, that was really fun. That was really good. I had a lot of fun. I really wish that my commentary was a little bit better during the events because I was stuttering my words a bunch of times when I was trying to explain stuff. The one thing I didn't explain was in Eastern Palace, where you would normally spawn 4 Stalfos, but depending on your movement in that room, you would spawn 2. I never got to explain that for whatever reason. I was explaining something else at that time when I got to that point, and then I just lost it. Well, I figured that since I was far enough away from the room, there's no need for me to explain anymore, which is why I just completely botched it. At least I was able to, what's it called? I was able to interact with the chat for a little bit. I interacted with the chat during my run, and which is really good. What you want to do is, like in a marathon, you want to do a good job at explaining what you're doing, how you're doing it, as well as do a good job with interacting with the audience. That was pretty much what I was trying to do. And I talked so much during my run. Well, I pretty much talked throughout the whole run that like I didn't give them any chances of reading any donations, which I think I should feel bad, because reading donations is another part of a marathon. But for whatever reason, I just didn't do it. Because usually in Link to the Past, there's not really that much to explain. There's not really too much to explain, especially in 100%. But I just explained some like little detail stuff. And because this is the Game Boy Advance version I was running, it is different from the Super Nintendo. So I had to explain what's different from Game Boy Advance to Super Nintendo. And that's why I had to explain a lot more things than the SNES version. And I had no commentators commentating with me, so I had to do all the commentary by myself, and it was. It wasn't bad. I actually had a lot of fun with it. So, yeah. Oh, you didn't watch the marathon, huh? Oh, you're gonna start running new Super Mario Bros. 2? Nice, dude. That's actually a really good game. I think that's like my favorite. I think that's my favorite 3DS game. It's really good. You don't like Resi that much? I mean, I don't really get in contact with the Super Mario World community that much, so I don't really know much about Resi, other than the fact that you ran low percent at S2CTW. So yeah. Let's see. What else? What else do I need? What else? else is there to talk? What else is there that I want to talk about during the run? I think that's pretty much it. I think that just sums up like my experience during the run. I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to run Link to the Past GBA at a marathon. I'm glad I actually got to be featured at a marathon at least once, even if it's not a GDQ. I'm really satisfied. I would like to run at a GDQ someday. One thing I have in mind is New Super Luigi U, but I mean, going at a GDQ is a very low chance. But if I somehow happen to get the opportunity to actually go, I would go. And it's because it feels like a really good experience. So my next goal for S2CTW is to submit New Super Luigi U with Supernova, because I originally tried to submit New Super Luigi U as a race with Supernova, but it did not get accepted. So yeah. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with that. I'm satisfied with the current PB that I have right now. I don't think I'll be able to improve it anymore, or at least it won't be for a long time, because I'm pretty much... I don't really have any plans for Link to the Past anymore, because I reached my goal for it. You're running a marathon, huh? I'll think about it. I'll think about running at your marathon, Regines. So since Link to the Past is done, I need to find a different speed game to do. Well, then again, I do Super Metroid and New Super Luigi U. I mean, as you can probably tell, that Link to the Past is the game that I go back to the most, like, out of all my speed games. Like, as it gets, like, if you look down at my PB list, I try to run other games, but they don't really work out too well. And then I just constantly come back to Link to the Past. But now that's over. So I can finally move on to working on other things. One game I do have in mind for speedrunning is Super Mario RPG. And I want to run that game because that's my favorite game ever. And I think it deserves my time for me to actually start running it and put time into it. Because I love that game I love that game. And plus it's a game that I never get upset at no matter what happens. Like, that game is just... I love everything about Super Mario RPG. I also want to learn Link's Awakening as well. Link's Awakening sounds like a really fun game to get into. So yeah. By the way, Richness, let me know, like, well, you can, yeah, let me know, like, what marathon you're running, what marathon you're organizing. I'll think about it, but I'm not sure if I'll do it, because, well, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get into it, but I could try, depending on how much time I have. Because now I can now focus on doing the Super Metroid tournament, which I think is going to be on hold for during winter break, because of, you know, New Year's, Christmas, and HDQ. But I'll still practice for Super Metroid. So yeah. Well, I guess I'm done with streaming for the night. I actually have some work to do, so I'll talk to you guys later. I don't know when I'll stream. I don't know when I'll stream, but because school stuff is great. So I'm just gonna I'll cut the stream off for now, and then when I get back to streaming, I'll see what I'll do. So yeah. Good.